Hey there everyone, it's Val, and welcome back to Tolkiencraft II, The Labors of Valentine. Today's tour, I have actually 2 days worth of stuff to show you, and I didn't do my tour last night because I was up too late and I was very tired. So, to start with, we made a carpenter and a thermionic fabricator for a large project, well, largish project, that I have been planning to work on for some time. I don't know if you've used thermionic fabricators before, but basically it needs a source of power. You put sand or glass here in this slot to be melted into liquid glass, and then once you've done that, you put your pattern in here. So for example, we could make tin thingies. Did I do this right? Oh, of course not. Recipes. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay, we don't need all these. There we go. So we could just use that and we could make tin electron tubes. I'm not actually going to do that. In fact, I'm going to disconnect the power because it seems to keep sucking the power back even when it's not doing anything. It doesn't seem to listen to these. At least not on the front there, so I haven't had a chance to play with it to figure out what's going on. Anyway, you also need to make a carpenter for some other parts of the project I'm about to explain. And you'll want to make yourself a soldering iron. The soldering iron is not too hard to make. You do need a carpenter with water in it, which is one of the reasons we made it. And you need 3 iron ingots and a bronze ingot. And you have yourself a nice little soldering iron. Right. So, actually today we're working on a squeezer and a second carpenter for use with seed oil so that we could make our first beehive. We are attempting to... Oh, look at that! We actually got the rocky comb. Awesome. That means, well, we can do a quest on camera, which is a bonus because I hadn't expected to. You might wonder what these nice flashy blocks are. Basically what I did is the rubies, the peridot, and the sapphires that I've been mining, you can turn them into blocks, and those blocks are gorgeous. You can cut them into pieces using microblocks with the diamonds, or any kind of saw. The iron saw, I like to use the diamond because it lasts the longest. And use it for decorations, for building, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I also did the same thing with the tanzanite because I thought that it might look pretty cool too. The gems look beautiful. Well, at least in this texture pack, the block is pretty blah, in my opinion, which is a shame. If it was as gorgeous as these blocks, I would have loved to use it in building. As it is, I don't think I'll be using it, which is a pity. Alright. So let's do that quest. And just, turn it in. For that we need to make a bee house. And for the bee house we needed 1 piece of comb. I don't know if there's been a change in... not a horse. House. Thank you. I don't know if there has been a change in how... when you use a scoop on a beehive, you used to occasionally get honeycombs. In fact, you got them fairly frequently. I harvested 5 rocky hives, and I got 0. I got 0 combs, which is a pain. Alright. Actually, we're trying out this magician's workbench, since the Tinker's Construct workbenches right now are causing crashes. I'm hoping that is going to be fixed. But in the meantime, we can actually use this magician's workbench. I don't know if it can look at an attached inventory, but it has its own inventory, which is almost as good. And apparently you can lock in interesting... it remembers the things that you've crafted, and you can lock them in. So I assume there's some kind of automation you can do with this. I've never actually used Ars Magica, the mod, at all before, so it's entirely new to me. I also don't know why you can make a bee house as well as an apiary in Forest for Minecraft. But we have one. And let's manually submit that. And let's pick reward bag number 2. And as a reward, we've got ourselves 4 apiaries, which is fabulous. Because, well, seeds... I don't have a ton of seeds right now, so... yeah. Okay, this is a greater bag. Let's see what we got. Oh, wow. Oh, my. Really? I wonder how much damage they do. Well, I'm just going to have to try these on. Achievement get, Treasures of Old. Mithril Sword. They're all from the Lord of the Rings mod. That looks pretty snazzy. So, is that a full set? That looks like it's equivalent to diamond. Wow. Interesting. I think I'll wear them a little bit. Alright, so the next, this was on this path here, under the World of Technology tree. Savior of Bees. Oh, looks like we need to make a bunch of, bee things, beealizer. Alrighty, so we can't do that today. So I'll just leave that. Right, so back to showing you what I had been working on, and the reason that I made the thermionic fabricator and the carpenter in the first place. And of course it's raining out. Maybe we can sleep. Maybe we can sleep. I can only sleep at night. Well, it looks darn well like it's... oh, I think it's just coming day? Maybe? Oh well, I guess we will look at it in the daytime. In the rain. Getting horribly wet. Actually, before we go down, I do have one thing to show you. I was told that... ouch. You could plant ender lily seeds on an ender core. Now, an ender core is not a cheap thing to make. And let me just bring up the recipe to give you an idea. You need ender infused obsidian, which actually is not too bad. That is the easiest part of that and the Eye of Ender. Those are easy. This, not so much. You need 4 enchanted books, and they can be level 1 enchants. That's what I did. So that means you need 16 enchanted books to make this, because you need the 4 magical wood. And I was told that it would grow fast on here. Well, it is growing, but it's... the jury is still out as to whether it's faster to do that, or just, you know, periodically water the ones on the end stone. Because these seem to grow quite nicely up here. So, we'll see. It may grow faster than... if I wasn't watering these, it may grow faster than these would. I don't know. But since I am watering them, and watering this one doesn't seem to let it grow, at least it hasn't yet grown when I've watered it. So I'm not sure. Not sure. Jury's out on that. Alright. So, we are making use of flower power to run a Forestry Arboretum. So here's our Arboretum, and let's just hop over here. Now, as you can see, we are supplying water to it. I managed an intricate circuit board, and that's what you need the soldering iron for. You will make a blank circuit board, and you will make some electron tubes for You'll have to look it up on the wiki, but basically, I think it was the bronze ones that I made for the Arboretum. But you need, it's complicated, and this is the first time I've ever built one, so I don't feel competent to explain it in detail, but I will show you what I've set up. I will say, though, that checking the wiki is a very, very good idea. If you look, this is a 4 by, well, it's 5 by 5, 5 length, 5 width, and it's a 4 block high. So this is the biggest farm you can make. You need 100 of the farm blocks in order to make it. And, well, because we're using this for our power generation, as you'll see, I wanted to make the biggest one. So let's just go down. The ornate quarried stone, you can use as an edging any stone that you like, and I chose ornate quarried stone because, well, we had a big batch of quarried stone right here. And if you look under there, mossy stone bricks. You need mossy stone, or I need mossy stone here because that's what I made the farm blocks out of. If you made the farm blocks out of regular stone bricks, then the underlayer would also be regular stone bricks. And I just wanted to mention that because that was something that I wasn't aware of. And fortunately, Great Orator was in chat, and when I started using quarried stone blocks for the base, he was like, oh no, you can't do that. And so thank you to him for helping me out with that particular issue. Alright, when you build the farm block, you're going to need 3 special blocks. So after you've made your 100 farm blocks, you'll take 3 of them, and you will make a farm hatch, which is how you get items in and out of the system. You will make yourselves a farm gearbox, which is how you get power into the system. And you will make yourself a farm valve, which is how you get the water into the system. Now you can have more than one hatch and more than one valve. In this setup, I only needed 1 of each, so that worked out very nicely. So I have a little infinite spring here, and I'm using an extra utilities transfer node for liquids, and I've added in a world interaction upgrade so it will actually suck up the water, and it is sending it quite happily into here, which is awesome. You will also want to make fertilizer, and the fertilizer is made from apatite and sand. Let me just grab, well, I didn't want to grab quite that much of it. There we go. And you can just make it, it makes a lot. There's a few, this recipe with ash, the easiest one for me to do was the sand with the apatite, and it makes a lot, and it doesn't use it up too quickly. So I think maybe we've used about, in the last 6 hours, 5 hours of play, we've used up maybe 40 fertilizer out of this. So when you find a patch of apatite, it usually has a lot of apatite in it, so it should be pretty easy to keep this full without having to do anything special. I've also got a barrel coming out of our farm block. Even though it looks like it's not attached, it is actually attached, and we are putting into the system dirt. Sorry, I said out, but it's actually going in. We need item transfer nodes on top of each one of these barrels. We are sending in dirt, and we are sending in the fertilizer. And so that's keeping it in there, and that's putting the dirt in there. It needs the dirt. It replaces the humus is basically dirt plus fertilizer. And the dirt, we're actually using up some of the dirt, so at some point we'll probably have to add some in there. So just keep an eye on that. Now, I've also got 3 output things here. I put a transfer node on the corner here, which is why you'd want to put the hatch on the edge, so that you can have it coming out on one side, or coming in on one side and coming out on the other. This transfer node, like the ones in the barrels, doesn't have anything in it. You don't have to tell it anything special, unlike the liquid transfer node here that needs the world interaction upgrade. And this is pulling out the products from this area. And I have them in this order because by putting the barrels first, it is putting all the apples in here, any excess saplings in here, and then to this ender chest, which I've got tagged with black, white, black, I am putting the wood. Of course, it's not chopping anything right now, but that's where the wood's going. And I'll show you where that wood is ending up in a moment. And the power is coming in through this way. And we can see that up there we have a energy cell, which I'll show you on the surface. We have a transfer node for energy. And then just under that we have an energy extraction pipe. And then attached to the energy extraction pipe we have the energy pipes. And I tested this, and you need that particular setup in order for the energy to be pulled out. Which confused me a little bit, to be honest, because the machines in the workshop did not need the energy transfer node. It was working fine. So, but this one does. It needs the energy transfer node. So I'm not sure why it is like that, but I just thought I'd mention that discrepancy in case you had noted that and were wondering if I had. Or at least to tell you, if you haven't noted it, that you need to watch out for that. Alright, it is dark out now. Let's just take a nap. It stopped raining too, which is nice. Alrighty. So now, if you look over here, I miss my boots. I gotta put my boots on. They have haste on them. So here is our hardened energy cell, full of energy, and it is feeding our farm quite nicely. And you might wonder what this is. This is a Botania object called a mana flux field. It takes mana and turns it into power. And here, if we watch, we can see the mana coming through. Basically, we have it coming in over there, going to the corner, turning the corner, and coming down here. We have a mana spreader at the corner, basically acting as a relay. And let me just put this, oh, that's oak wood. Where's my dirt? Thank you. Let's put my dirt back. So over here is where it's coming in, to this mana spreader. You have to put mana spreaders every so often. Otherwise the power starts to dissipate. And you can actually tell where that point is, because when you hold the wand, there will be an energy point there, like when you see the tracer going past, a little persistent energy point will stay where you need to put the next mana spreader in order to not lose any mana. Alright, so if you come in this way, you can see this stays empty because we're still filling up mana pools and all that sort of thing here. I'm still assessing this to see if this setup is adequate. So I just wanted to mention that in case you were noticing that. So anyway, that's where the power is coming from. We are powering our tree farm with mana by turning it into RF energy. So over here is where we are getting our mana from. Basically, this is the matching ender chest to the one that was underneath the farm. And so the wood is coming into here, going through the hopper. I put a hopper in here because it was cheaper than transfer nodes. And here's our wood coming in. We have a transfer node with nothing special in here, pulling it in to the furnace. You have to put it in the top on the furnace. And so as you can see, it is being turned into charcoal, courtesy of our exoflame down there. And our exoflame, as it processes each one into charcoal, the charcoal is getting pulled out by another transfer node into this barrel. This barrel is using we are using 120 ticks, and 1 item per tick. And we are sending that over to our item dropper, who's dropping the coal where it is getting snatched up by our 8 endoflames. And I still need to adjust the timer. I can send them faster. As you can see, we have an endoflame that is not doing anything. And I forgot to check what I had the settings at before, so I'm actually going to turn it down 10. That'll make it a half a second faster. And we'll see if it's still using up the charcoal and not leaving any lying around to get to despawn, because we don't want to waste the charcoal here. But by doing that, hopefully we'll start to see some improvement in the mana production there too. Okay, I just want to watch it a little bit and make sure. Okay, it looks like all 8 endoflames are... Oh, that one there was off briefly. So we've almost got it. That one's off. Now it's burning, so it grabbed the next one. And that one's off, and it grabbed the next one. Okay, so I think actually 110 is probably going to do what we want. Alright, so anyway, that is how it works. We take the... it's now a complete cycle. I don't have to do anything manually aside from making sure that it doesn't run out of dirt and fertilizer. And so we have our tree farm sending wood here, which is getting turned into charcoal, which gets translated into mana, which can become energy. So now I can look at actually starting to send, once the pools get filled up and it gets caught up, start sending energy into our workshop area, and we could try to run off of flower power and maybe get rid of those noisy solar panels. They are so noisy, and they do not want to listen to sound mufflers. The Botania stuff, you can put sound mufflers out and it'll be quiet. You can't do that with the solar generators for some reason. It does not listen. Does not listen at all. Alright, I also wanted to show you one other thing that I did with the mob farm. We actually are now providing power to the mana to the upper part of the mob farm as well, which is powering a Juliana flower up there. I think I showed that before, but it wasn't quite ready. I had to manually fill that pool, but now it's being filled on its own. I did try out a new item from Botania, and I had an issue with it, and I will mention the issue, but I'm not certain if this item caused the issue or if it was unrelated to it. I created a life imbuer, and I'll just show you what it does. Basically, and it's the reason that I ended up automating the actual input of mana to the pool there, because this needed mana. What it does is you take it down and you put it on top of a mob spawner, and it will act as if there is a player around all the time. So I can be off in Draconis doing whatever, and because the chunk loader is keeping this area loaded, we're going to have monsters spawning from the monster spawner as if I was standing here AFK. Unfortunately, I had something really odd happen, and I'm just going to pick this up. Come on, you. Thank you. And the odd thing that happened was we had an overpopulation of mobs. Apparent mobs. As it turned out, when I did /COFH space kill all to get rid of what I thought was like 500 mobs piled up here and piled up over there, there was like 1 million skeletons, it looked like. Well, 500. I couldn't kill them off because they didn't really exist, even though the entity count showed them being there. I had to actually log out and log back in again for them to go away. So I don't know if this was causing that, or if something else was causing that. And until I can investigate further, I decided that just to be on the safe side, because it was totally lagging me out, these bogus 500 skeletons that weren't really there. It was still rendering them, and it was causing lag. And I don't like lag. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to play with that some more later. Anyway, so I think that's all that I was planning to show you for today's tour. And just checking my list again. Yep, I think that was it. Primarily, the big project was the oak farm and getting it all automated and working with production of mana. And that's all done, which I'm very happy with. And we'll see if there's any bugs that need to be ironed out. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed this tour, and I hope to see you later. In the stream, as it were. You take care. Bye.